If you need more support, visit faithfullygrowing.com and click on offerings. There you'll learn about the Faithfully Growing community, an affordable way to try IFS. You can also find info on one-on-one and group coaching offerings. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I invite you to schedule a free consultation on my website. There's no obligation, and I'd love to meet you. Also, my goal is to make IFS accessible to everyone. If you can help out, I invite you to make a tax-deductible donation at faithfullygrowing.com/donate. Your support lets me offer more sliding scale slots and keep creating free content like this podcast. Welcome to another episode of IFS Meditations and Insights, a podcast exploring personal growth through the lens of internal family systems. I'm Tim Fortescue, your guide on this journey, an IFS trained practitioner dedicated to nurturing spiritual wholeness and healing. In this compassionate space, we delve into self-discovery, uncovering inner wisdom. When we embrace all parts of ourselves with love, we can better receive divine love and extend it to others. My hope is that what I discuss here will illuminate your path, bringing you inner peace and a deeper connection to the sacred. Together, we'll learn how IFS gently transforms our relationship with ourselves and the world. So settle in, open up your heart and mind, and let's dive into another episode. The inner world is complex with many parts that can be hard to follow, especially when several are active at once. And making a map of this inner world helps make it clearer and easier to see, and this can be useful for both the practitioner and the client during the IFS process. And I've found it helpful no matter who is doing the work, adults, kids, couples. The parts mapping process and externalizing those parts is helpful. So I'm going to talk about that just a bit today and give a little insight that I found helpful. And please feel free to reach out if you have suggestions or questions or other things, because I'm learning right along with you and grateful for you. But here's why making a map of your inner system could be or may be helpful. First, it guides you through the process, ensuring that you understand each step and part along the parts work journey. Second, it shows the relationships inside, like conflicts and alliances with your parts. Some may be on one side that are more proactive, like managers, and some may be on another side that are more reactive, like firefighters. But as we get to know them and know those alliances and those polarizations that form, we can help them know each other better, and ultimately we're all on the same team. And a map can help with that. Number 3, it systematically pinpoints the core components that are directly associated with challenges, aspirations, or visions for the future. So again, it helps bring clarity and to help bring a sense of connectedness between those parts work sessions, whether it be with a practitioner or on your own. Number 4, it helps separate parts from each other, starting the unblending process, allowing parts to see you and for you to see your parts. And it provides a different perspective, and it allows you to visualize that. And it's in that space where unblending happens that relationship with our parts and vice versa, their relationship with us can happen. Number 5, it's a way to take notes or remember parts over time, which can be helpful for organizing information and recalling details later on that may stimulate a part that you may not have jotted down. But I've found that as we externalize, take notes, even if we miss some things, what we jot down can facilitate other parts to jump back in, and we can be reminded of them. And then finally, it gives you a tool to reflect on your parts between sessions, which can help enhance the overall parts work process. And so I encourage you to find ways that work for you to externalize your parts and to map them. And you can externalize parts in many ways. And let me give you just a few ways that may stimulate your creativity. And let me know if you come up with other options or things that have worked. And I'd be glad to know them and to share them with others too, as it makes sense. And feel free to share these concepts with others too. First, drawing or painting on paper with practitioner's help or on your own, allowing for visual expression during the session, whether it be in an office or on Zoom or in your own work and in between those sessions or times that you do your work. Number two, and this is helpful for me as a practitioner, the practitioner creating a map for notes or to show the client, aiding in understanding and visualization of concepts that are discussed. That is very helpful for me between session. And if you're a practitioner that is listening, first of all, I love to connect with other IFS practitioners, whether it be a coach or a therapist. Reach out. And I'd be glad to offer any insight that I have found and would be grateful to learn from you. Number three, sculpting parts by placing objects, cards, or people in a room, providing a tangible representation of inner dynamics. And maybe using dolls or puppets, scarves, or other items to explore emotions and relationships in a nonverbal way. Another way, I believe I'm on 4 here, clay for hands-on expression and creation in sessions can be helpful and in your parts work. And then 5th, sand tray for symbolic representation and exploration of subconscious thoughts and feelings. Sand trays can have multiple figures or objects that help you identify with your parts, and you can arrange them kind of like a little sandbox. If you're a practitioner, you're probably aware of this, but a little sandbox that you can have, and any object that relates to you and your system, you put it in there, and in a session, you're able to use it to externalize your parts and connect with them. And then I'll give you 2 more. The next one, a collage as a creative tool for assembling images and materials to convey personal narratives. And I've even had clients do this some online with Canva or other programs like that, and I've used it some myself, but it is a way to externalize those parts. And one thing is you can add more objects or cards that are unique to you, much like with a sand tray, but it's a little more contained and online. And then finally, IFS tools. Like I use, and many practitioners, an upside down triangle showing different parts. For example, the protective layer at the top on the 2 opposite ends of the triangle, those managers and firefighters, and then below, as you go down toward the V, that those parts that have been exiled or protected by those managers. And then at the core, and even beyond the core of that triangle, you have yourself and self-energy. And things like a blank mandala for introspection and self-awareness can also be helpful. So I hope that these have stimulated some of your creativity, but like real maps, an inner system map can show many parts or zoom in on a few, just like zooming in on a map. And after making a map, clients can decide which parts they want to explore more with IFS or which ones are most present. And then on the flip side, a map helps the practitioner spot parts that might cause trouble later on so that they can be curious. And maybe they're on the wrong track, but they can throw that out. And if there are parts that need attention after deeper work, you can focus on that, and that helps just make the healing process more valuable, and we get what we need. And so I encourage you to, spend some time mapping, externalizing those parts if you haven't already, or if it's been a while, or if you already do it, continue doing it. But parts mapping is a great tool, and I'm glad to assist if you have questions. So feel free to reach out.